Hi everyone, my name's Carly, I'm from Project Heal, and today with my beautiful friend Carrie we're going to host a Google Hangout that we're putting together for all the mothers out there who carry some sort of pain or grief in their heart for Mother's Day, and that may be, we may all have different circumstances, whether it's the loss of a child or struggling with infertility, or for people who are unable to have children at all. So we're gathered here today in the presence of some very beautiful and inspiring women from all over the world. It's amazing that we can all log in and be together at the same time. It's very early for a few people here, and quite late as well. So first of all, we'll just introduce everyone so everyone can kind of get to know who's on the panel, and then we're going to open up a conversation. And the aim of this hangout today is for basically just us to reach out to those who are, really dreading Mother's Day, or people who have to go out and face the world and face ignorant people, or people who just say the wrong thing, or we just want people to know that they're not alone today, and that there are many other people out there who are going through similar experiences. So, as I said, I'm Carly from Project Heal, and I'm here tonight with my beautiful mum. Annie, would you like to tell everyone a little about yourself?
Yes, thank you very much, Carly. And thank you very much, ladies. I feel quite honoured to have been invited to participate in this conversation tonight. Tonight for us, today for everyone else. Yes, so I'm Anne, and I'm Carly's mum. I'm very fortunate to be the mum of two beautiful children, and also I have 4 absolutely gorgeous grandchildren. Christian isn't here with us. My 3 little granddaughters, Scarlett, River and Osha, are the absolute light of my life. I love them. I love them. And I love Christian right along with these little girls, and he's with me every day. Sorry?
Well, we got off to a great start, didn't we? I shouldn't have introduced you.
Oh, goodness me.
No, that's wonderful. Yeah, I felt it was really important to bring a grandmother into this conversation, because I think we hear so much from the mothers, but we hear so little from the grandmothers. So I'm so honoured to have my beautiful mum here today, who's she's often there behind the scenes and behind the scenes. Wow, I'm tired.
The scenes,
helping me with events, and she's just amazing. And anyone who's watching today who has met her in real life, they just know how beautiful she is. So I'm just so thankful to have you here, and you're very brave. And I will introduce Carrie, who is my partner in crime and best friend and baby lost sister, and I could go on for hours about how much I love this woman. But please, Carrie, tell everyone a little bit about yourself.
Thank you, Carly, and you kicked it right off for me. I'm crying already.
Sorry, Carrie.
No, but this is good, and I'm glad, because I think that sort of brings us all back down to the reason why we're here. My name is Carrie Fisher-Pascual, and I am with the Still Project, which is a documentary film project centered around topics related to pregnancy loss and infant death, and what that does to families and to communities. And basically the project is about communication, so that's why what we're doing today is so important to me, and I know to all of you here. I am a mother to 2, to Elena, who was our firstborn. She was born and died in 2002, and to Isaiah, who is here with us. He was born in 2004, and though we came very close to losing him as well, thankfully he is here and he's fine. So they are my reason for being a mother. They make me a mother, and I feel so honored as well to be here, because I feel like we have such a great panel today of amazing voices.
Thank you, Carrie. I think we'll go. I think we'll go to introduce Mandy now. If you can hear us, Mandy.
I can. Yes, my power went out, so I was scrambling to get on.
Okay. Yeah. Please take a moment to introduce yourself, Mandy, and let us know a little bit about your story.
Sure. As Carly said, I'm Mandy, and I am a writer for Still Standing magazine. And a little bit about my story is I've had 3 losses in the span of 10 years. And between my second and third loss, there was over 6 years in between. And so I've struggled with that and just not having any living children at all. And it was a year ago yesterday of my last loss. And so last year's Hangout, I was right in the midst of losing that one. So it's sort of healing to be here, and, you know, I may not have a child, but I'm still moving forward and life goes on. So that's really it in a nutshell. I mean, I do some other things, but I'll leave it at that.
Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, when Carrie and I were talking about doing this Google Hangout, you were the first person that came into my mind because, I mean, I created the Mother Hearts project with people like my friends like you at the center of it, because I just thought, you know, I was standing on the beach and I had my daughter, Osha, and we were standing in the water together, and she wrapped her arms around me and she looked up at me, and I had my camera and I took this photo of her, and it was just like this moment where kind of everything stood still, and I was just like, I can't believe how beautiful you are and how, you know, I get to keep you, you know, I get to hug you and kiss you goodnight, and I get to look after you when you're not well, and I get to send you to school, and you draw me pictures, and it was at that moment, and I thought of you, and I thought of my friend Teresa, and I thought of my friend Sue, and these beautiful women with mother hearts who just don't have any babies to care for here. You know, I just thought, God, that, you know, it's just so unfair and it's so rough. And so they were, you know, you guys were the main inspiration behind the Mother Hearts project, and I feel it's really, really important to honour you all for the mothers that you are. So yeah, thank you so much for being here, Mandy. You're one of the bravest souls I know, and especially last year when you were going through such heartache, and you agreed to come on and speak for all the women that are doing it that tough. So I you know, all my love to you, girl.
Thank you. And that's what I do because they're so forgotten, and they feel so alone most of the time, and so I'm just very fiercely protective of them and their hearts. So I'm their voice for the ones that don't have any support.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we thank you.
And we were fortunate to have Mandy with us last year as well, but we have some new faces joining us this year, which we're really excited about. I'd like to turn it over to you, Nathalie. This is Nathalie Himmelrich, and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Thank you, Carrie. So, as Carrie said, my name is Nathalie, and I'm the founder of Reach for the Sky Counseling and Coaching, and the author of the forthcoming book, Grieving Parents, Surviving Loss as a Couple. And so the book that I'm that's currently in editing process is about the effect of parental bereavement on the couple's relationship. So whether the loss is through infertility, miscarriage, stillbirth, neonatal death, illness, murder, suicide, or accidents, the grieving experience a mother and a father is, as Sean Hanish, director and producer of the film Return to Zero, said, it's a similar but very different experience. And so similar to the film, the intent of the book is to make a sense of the world after loss. And it is also about teaching people how to be empathetic and accepting and understanding with each other in the relationship, and also with people who are going through that experience. The reason why I came to write this book is because I have now one living daughter. She's 2.5, under May, and she had an identical twin sister, Amaya, who was passed away on the 3rd day from Potter syndrome. And so these are my living born children, and then I had 2 losses, 2 miscarriages, the last one a year ago. So it depends on how you're counting. I would say I have 4 children, but only 2 I gave birth to, and 1 that I'm holding hands with now. And so, yeah, so in my story is basically about learning to be a mother at the same time as learning to be a grieving or bereaved parent, and yeah, that sort of led me to bring about the book.
Thank you, Nathalie. We're so glad that you could be with us today. Natalie's joining us from Switzerland, so
yes, thank you for having me.
We really are global today. We're excited to have you. And last but certainly not least, you mentioned Sean Hanish and the movie Return to Zero, which everyone is eagerly anticipating, premiering soon. We're so fortunate to have his wife, Kiley Hanish, here with us today. Kiley, welcome, and thank you for being here, and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Thanks, Carrie and Carly, for inviting me on. It's an honor to be here with everybody. And a little bit about myself. I have 3 children. My eldest, Norbert, passed away when I was 35 weeks pregnant, and I have 2 living children with me now. And I don't know what else. I mean, my whole story is in the movie, so I'm not going to talk too much about that experience. But I think it's great to be able to connect with other people. And I think I remember watching you all last year and just being able to hear people who've been through something similar and feel that you're not alone and you're not going crazy in your own thoughts. So thanks for letting me be a part of this.
Yeah, well, we're so honored, Kiley, to have you here, and I was lucky enough to spend some time with you. Was it last weekend or the weekend before?
No, I think it was last weekend.
Yeah, I'm really jet lagged here, so I haven't. But you know, it was really wonderful to spend time with you, and especially at the most crazy time of your life, and to see your beautiful children, and for us to have a chat about the anxiety that we suffer as mothers, which I kind of I sometimes kind of wonder if we all go through some kind of postpartum stress, or I can't think what it's called, I'm too tired, but I think we all go through this sort of really tough experience of losing a child, and then when we do have children to look after, I think we suffer a lot of anxiety of whether that's going to happen again, because nothing is guaranteed, and so there's a lot of worrying in parenting after a loss. But I think we'll go on to now. We've introduced everyone, haven't we? Yeah,
yes.
Everyone's there. I'm counting the windows here. Okay, so I think what we were going to do now is if we were all going to share a little bit about what defines a mother for us, and I think at the root of it all, I think we all have the same sort of beliefs when it comes to what defines a mother. But I thought it'd be nice for us to all share our different perspectives. So I'll go first. But I think when I was growing up, the definition of a mother to me was any woman that gives birth and raises a child and does lots of washing and lots of cooking and complaining about how tired they are, and to be honest, I think my definition of a mother didn't change until I actually held my son who had died hours beforehand in my arms, and I think it was at that point where things, my beliefs started to change, and I've met so many amazing, wonderful people along this journey that have shown me that motherhood really it starts a lot earlier, and I think it begins when if you open your heart to becoming a parent and opening your heart to love a child more than yourself, then that's the moment that you become a mother, and that stays with you. So, you know, there's a lot of mothers out there without any children to look after, and we come in all different sort of shades, really, I guess you could say. But yeah, anyone who holds love in their heart for children, I would definitely call a mother. Yeah, definitely. That's how I would describe it anyway. I think, Carrie, do you want to go next?
Yeah, I was just thinking of a couple of things as you were talking. When you first introduced the Mother Hearts Project, the first person that came to mind was a woman, actually, who used to attend church with us. And one day after service, she shared with me her own story, that she had had several miscarriages. She was never able to give birth to a child. And but she worked in social services, and she worked as sort of as a mentor and a guide to young people. And she said, you know, I feel such a connection to them, and I have so much love in my heart for children that I almost feel like they are like my children. And that, you know, that was the first thing that popped into my head, because I thought, definitely, you know, she definitely has a mother heart. You know, she has that love in her heart for children. And I'm sure it began the moment that she first thought about having her own child. And then when I started to be a little more introspective and think about how it related to me, I hadn't really thought about this before until recently. But, you know, when Jonathan and I got married, we had decided that, you know, we weren't going to actively start trying for a family for a few years. You know, we wanted to have those years to enjoy as a couple. And so when I got pregnant with Elena, we were actively not trying to have children. I was on birth control, and I didn't have any physical symptoms of being pregnant, so I didn't know that I was pregnant until 16 weeks. And a lot of people don't know this about our story, but when you posed that the topic of mother hearts, and the definition being, you know, the moment that you open your heart to the idea of becoming a mother, I thought, wow, what does that mean about me? Because I had not opened my heart to that idea yet. We were not even focused on that at all. And but, you know, the more that I thought through it, as much as my body physically was not in alignment with my mind during those, and my heart during those 16 weeks, the moment that we found out she was there, it was like I embraced those whole 16 weeks all in that moment, you know. And I thought about places we had been, and things that we had done, and all of the things that she was within me for. And I realized then that I did have a mother heart, you know, even at that point in time. But it is very interesting to think about, because there's so much that goes on with trying to get pregnant and with being pregnant. You know, the physiology of it is miraculous and amazing. And so there's a lot to be said for defining motherhood differently for every single woman out there, I think. And I think that's why it's important that we're having this conversation today.
Absolutely, Carrie. I remember when, I mean, I've known you for, you know, over a year now, probably longer. And I remember, yeah, I didn't know that about you, that you weren't aware that Elena had been with you for, you know, that 16 weeks. And I just felt so sad, because I thought you got so little time with her already, you know, and could have known about her for so much longer. But yeah, I think that's really powerful. And I think we'll move on to maybe to Nathalie, who, I mean, just before I get you to speak, I just wanted to say that, you know, your story is very unique, because you have experienced such an impossible loss, where you have two beautiful babies, and then one of them dies, and they're the same age, and I, you know, to watch one grow and then wonder about the other, I you know, I have quite a few friends that have been through that, and I'm sure you find yourself multiple times a week, or even a day, just wondering what would have been with Amaya. And you know, it's a loss that I don't, you know, I don't understand, and I can only imagine how hard that is. So, you know, I just want to I didn't say that to you in the interview when we spoke a few weeks ago, but you know, I really admire you for everything that you go through as a mother in raising one daughter and parenting another who's not here. You know, I think you're amazing. So please share with us how you define a mother.
Thank you. Thinking about the topic that we were talking about today, I was you know, going by the definitions and then thinking and referring back to me and what it means to me. And I realized that once we decided to have children, and that was late in our life, there's something that changed in me when I actively wanted to have children. And in our story, it turned out to be that we did IVF. And so prior to that, we tried naturally, and I remember every month the disappointment of not being pregnant. So I think I had that mother heart inside of me, which was already born, and longing and yearning for that child. And so I can really relate to, from that point, to any woman that wants to have a child and is prepared to love a child unconditionally, but isn't able to or can't, or for whatever reason. And when we did IVF, we were lucky that it happened the first time. And because we wanted one child, we implanted one egg. And the interesting thing that happened is we found out when we were 8 weeks pregnant that there were two. So, you know, when you were talking, Carrie, I thought, yeah, you know, as much as you can until you do a pregnancy test, you think you're pregnant because it's artificial, until you know that you're pregnant, and then until you have the first scan, you don't know. But then to find out that there were two living beings inside of me was that shock, surprise, beautiful surprise. And then finding out in 19 weeks that Amaya had Potter syndrome and was likely to be challenged for life, or whatever that would mean. You know, what you said, Carly, is there is no choice in becoming a bereaved parent, so you do what you need to do with that. What my journey has taught me is, you know, I had to learn how to be a parent, and this was my first time, and at the same time I had to learn how to grieve. And for a long time I didn't think I knew either mothering well, but the fact is that we just do as good as we can. And something really beautiful that I read recently was, and I'm just going to read it because it just really describes mothering to me. So this lady says, when you're fortunate enough to know what it's like to have an affectionate and nurturing mother, you never stop craving her love, her kind of love, and she's the only one who can make you feel it. And once she's gone, you search to fill her void until finally realizing you're trying to solve a riddle with no answer. And that brings me back to my first Mother's Day, which was then 2 years ago, where it was a really mixed bag, because yes, I had a child in my arm. And yes, as you were saying, Carly, I can imagine every day what it would look like to have two identical twin girls. And at the same time, for me, in my journey came that my mother committed suicide just 4 months prior to Mother's Day. So that was my first Mother's Day, being a mother, being a bereaved mother, and also having to deal with being a half-orphan child, as they called that. And that really, you know, that brings back that appreciation of what a mother is to me. And I've only learned that when I had my own child, to really understand what it means to be a mother. And I'm still learning. It's not going to finish. It's not going to something that I'm going to complete. The same as I think the grieving is not something that I'm ever going to complete. Mothering two children, one here, one already in another world.
You've left me lost for words, Nathalie, and I think you did that when we spoke on Skype a few weeks ago. Yeah, I mean, I bought some flowers today for my friend whose mother died a couple of years ago as well, and Sam's going to take them to her tomorrow when he sees her. and that's a whole other loss in itself when you've lost your mother, and to experience that on Mother's Day. And but to be in your situation, to lose your child and your mother so close, that's just an impossible situation. And it's just amazing to see how the person that you are and all the wonderful things that you're doing is just, I don't know where you draw your strength from. And it's really and completely inspiring, and I just think you're wonderful. I think we'll move on now. Does anyone want to go next? Mandy, do you want to speak next, maybe?
Sure, I can speak next. I had to ask a couple of my friends, because when you told us that we were going to be defining what we thought a mother was, I had no idea, and I had no clue what to even say or how to articulate it. And so I went to some friends who are much better with words than I am. And one of my friends, she had never had a child until she went through IVF, and she went for years, but always, had a mother's heart. And, she came at it with, even though she had all of that love to give, she didn't feel she could express her motherness, I guess, because she had never had a loss. She had never seen a positive pregnancy test. And she felt so alone in that. And, thankfully she found the support group that I've been running for many, many years, and realized that she wasn't alone. And then my other friend, who has had losses, numerous, and she's a little bit older, and she's come to that part in her journey where she will never have a living child. And so, she said that as soon as you start dreaming and planning in your head and your heart for having room for a child is when she felt she was a mother, even before she was ever pregnant. And really, I can remember when I was little, always just wanting to be a mom, and so that was just always with me. And with my first loss, the circumstances around that one weren't good, and so I never was able to grieve or have support. It was all just swept under, and so I never felt like a mother until much, much later, more recently, since I've been more active in the community, that I felt that I could grieve that loss. And, so I've been a mother since I was not even 20, like an actual mother. I carried a child, and it just, I think that affected me for many years, being able to come to terms with being okay of calling myself a mother. And it just, I still, sometimes I know, and I write how I want to say it, but it's hard to actually say it out loud most of the times. So, as soon as you open up your heart to wanting a child, in my eyes, you're a mom. And don't be afraid to say it, and don't be afraid to show it, and speak with people about it, because there's others like you, and like all of us, you just have to dig a little bit to find them. And most of the time, other people aren't saying it either, and as soon as one person says it, other people will too, and you'll really realize you aren't alone. And so
I think that's so important, Mandy. Like, I think it's kind of like the whole purpose of this hangout is just to get people talking. And I mean, I'm not really one to make people share things on my page, but this in particular, I really want people to share this conversation, because it's somewhere out there. You don't even have to be in the community to share this Google Hangout. You could just share it on your page, and it's just one way of acknowledging all the women on your friends list who have mother hearts. They may not have children with them, but you're so right. Like, if you just speak about it, then you open up a whole other platform for someone else to speak about it. So there's this whole kind of like ripple effect. And I mean, the community always talks about breaking the silence and things like that. But it really is important for people to start healing, and for us to change society's view on motherhood. You know, I think Mother's Day is such a, it's just poisoned by you know, corporate companies who are just out there to make money, and what you can buy for your mum, and all, you know, it's just such a headache, and it just kind of makes me feel sick. Like, I hate turning on the TV to see all the advertisements about all the things that mums would like, and I'm just like, it's so not about that. Like, it infuriates me. So it is really important. What you said, Mandy, is really important, and people just need to speak up. And I think, you know, for anyone who may be watching this who doesn't really understand what it's like to go through Mother's Day and feel a lot of heartache and pain, you know, all you have to do is really think about anyone who's gone through some sort of situation that is difficult, and just reach out to them and just say, it's as simple as saying, you know, you have a beautiful mother heart. It's so easy. It really is. And you know, what damage can you really do? I think a lot of people are afraid of mentioning anything because they're scared of, you know, upsetting that person, when really all they want is to be acknowledged. So anyway, look, I'm going to pass it along because I'm going to get told to wrap it up in a minute. So I'll while everyone's laughing, I'll let my mum talk. If you want to share what you define as a mother, that'd be lovely.
I think all of you ladies have very eloquently put your opinions and thoughts forward so well. There's probably very little that I can add, apart from just saying that, and I agree with you all, when you first get that maternal yearning, that feeling, I think I want to have a baby, and all of a sudden your heart opens to the thought of, I could be a mother, and I could love somebody else. When you stop thinking just about yourself and perhaps your husband or whatever, and you start to think about bringing a child into the world, that's that maternal yearning. I'll never forget it when my husband and I, Carly's dad and I, decided to try for a baby. I was just so excited, and we were very lucky. I haven't had the experience that you ladies have had, so I feel a little bit separate from you in this conversation. But if I can just quickly say, I'm here representing grandmothers, and to be a grandmother is it's just an absolutely wonderful experience. And being with Carly when she lost Christian, one of the strongest instincts that you have as a mother is that of protection. You want to protect your child. I couldn't protect Carly from this. I had to sit by and watch this happen to my beautiful daughter, and to my gorgeous son-in-law, and the feeling of utter helplessness I felt when I had to watch her go through this labour, and then leave her in the hospital and go home and wait for the call at 2:15 in the morning from Carly to say, he's born and he's beautiful, but he was gone. That for me was a very, very hard thing to do. That I couldn't help Carly. All I could do was be here for her, and whatever she needed, do for her or give to her or whatever I could do. And I'm one grandmother. There are millions out there who would have gone through the same thing or very similar, and I think we're like a silent group of women. We know that it's not about us. This terrible tragedy in our families, it's not about us, it's not about me. It's about our children, that they have gone through this, and I still feel helpless, and that I haven't been able to do more for Carly. And if I can just get a message out to grandmothers out there that, you know, if you feel this way, you're not on your own. We're like this band of old grey-headed ladies who want to do as much as we can for our children, but we just didn't have the power to help them at that time. It was something that our children have had to go through. I think I might have digressed from the subject.
I don't think you did at all. I think,
yeah, that's my little message.
yeah, I think, you know, yeah, I mean, we don't, it's so rare to hear from grandmothers. I don't know if that's because I'm just concentrated so much on myself, but
you're allowed to do that.
Yeah, I know.
That's what you
I
have
know.
to do.
I know. But you know, I think that grandmothers really suffer because I remember, you know, you were so amazing when we had Christian, and you just, you know, anything that we wanted, you just like, whatever, I'll do whatever, and you were there for it all. And I remember that, you know, one of our biggest regrets is that we didn't let anyone come in to see Christian, and especially my daughter. I would have loved her to, even though she wouldn't remember it now. And I remember, like, a few weeks later, we hadn't shown photos of him to anyone, and I will never forget the time that you called me and said, would it be possible for me to see a photo of Christian, because you couldn't picture him in your mind. And I thought, oh my God, I can't believe I kept him from you.
It's okay, because you did what you had to do.
Yeah,
at the time,
I know, and I don't feel guilt over it now. But I just remember going, you poor thing, you've been grieving over the grandson that you never met, and you don't even know what he looks like. And
but you gave me the photos, and I've got them, and they're in my little memory box.
Let's not start an argument.
Okay.
That's another part of mother relationship, right? We won't talk about that today.
Okay, all right. No, we're all good, and no, I think I'm so lucky that you're here today, and I tell us all the time how wonderful you are, and how I never take you guys for granted, because I know I'm lucky to have such beautiful parents. So.
Well, you're a beautiful daughter, so it's easy to be your parent most of the time.
All right.
I don't want to interrupt the love fest, but I do want to give Kiley an opportunity to share a little bit. Kiley, if you would kind of just tell us what your definition of a mother or motherhood is.
I mean, I can't add a lot to what's already been said, but I love the idea of a mother heart. I think, to me, the two words that represent it best is unconditional love. And that when you find out that you're pregnant, the love that you have for your baby, just in changing, you know, you're putting that baby first, and things that you change to keep that baby healthy. You start, you know, you change your life, you know, and so I think that's mostly it. It's just, it's loving. So yeah, I don't have a lot more to add. It's just.
No, I think that, yeah, I mean, everyone has pretty much said exactly, but you're right, like, unconditional love for me, like, I was trying to think, I mean, I just love my children so much, and something that struck me when we were at the movie premiere the other night, and I heard Minnie say something about they don't ever talk about what happened, the relationship that you have with your child after they die. No one ever speaks about that. And I was thinking, you know, that's so true, because Christian might not be here, but I still have a very strong relationship with him, and he's a part of my everyday life. There's not, you know, I mean, it's been 7 years since we had him, but I have unconditional love for him and all my girls and all my children. We have different relationships. I have different relationships with all three of my daughters. But, you know, I have three beautiful girls. One who's been very sick for most of her life, who's coming good now. I have River, who's just, you know, a crazy kid who doesn't need a mother. She's just so full of life. She truly doesn't. I mean, when I got on the plane to LA, she basically said, "Catch you later, Mum." And there was no tears or anything. And, you know, and then I have Scarlett, who is, you know, she's like a handbagger. She's with me all the time, and you know, we parent them differently, but at the root of it all is unconditional love, and there's probably nothing that they could do on this earth that would stop me from loving them. And that's just the same. So I think where we were going to go now is, I think each of us were going to maybe just say what we, we've got to go through to sorry, I'm just reading something on the side here. We've got Mandy. Yeah, Mandy, you wanted to say something. Sorry.
I just wanted to expand on how, you know, people don't talk about how they mother their children after they're gone. I have a really good friend who's also a still standing writer, and I've met her and spent some time with her in real life, and so that was really awesome. But she has said that she wrote a book, and it's coming out this month, I think, but in it she says that no one can mother your dead child like you can. That's something that no one can ever take away from you, and no one can ever do. You know, as much as mothers compare themselves to each other in parenting styles, that's something as lost moms, that their fathers and their grandmothers, there's nothing like a mother mothering her dead child, because no one else can do that. No one else carried them. No one else felt them or saw them. You know, in my case, I never saw any of my babies, but no one else ever went through what I went through with them, and no one can ever take that away from you, even as hard as that is. Just no one can mother your child like you can, ever.
Yeah, that's so true.
Yeah.
I think. Sorry, Carrie, were you going to say?
Well, can I add something to the mothering after your child has passed? I think one thing I've noticed is all of us and so many other people are doing really amazing things, and that is a way of, you know, in like, how do we take our grief and what do we do with it? Whether books we write, groups we lead, projects that we take on, it's really a way of honoring our children. And Sean mentioned something in an interview that he said, he's like, every day for the past 3 years has been time that he's got to spend with Norbert, and it's, I don't know, I'm crying, but you know, it's totally true, because you don't get to spend time with them, but turning it into something that allows you to focus on your baby or babies that are not here is a great legacy for them, and when you're doing that, you're being with them. So it's an interesting take, and I think there's so many people out there that are doing great things, and that's their way of connecting with their babies.
I agree, Kiley, and I think while you were talking before about, you know, it's hard to come up with something to add, I think that's because at the end of the day, whether it's when you're trying to get pregnant, when you are pregnant, after you've had a child, or after your child has died, the concept of motherhood is so hard to define, because that type of love is unlike any other type of love in the world. And that's what makes it so beautiful, and that's what makes it so special. You know, fathers and children definitely have amazing connections and amazing love too, but the love of a mother, no doubt, is completely different. And I think that's why it's so special that we're talking about this here today, and the way that we're talking about it here today. We're going to try to wrap this up, and in doing so, what we'd like to do is ask each one of you to share one wish that you have for anyone who's out there that might be watching, a wish for Mother's Day. And I guess I'll kick it off by saying that my wish for everybody out there for Mother's Day is that you take at least a little bit of time for yourself to do exactly what it is that you need. A lot of times as mothers, whether we're mothering our children here or children who are no longer with us, we're always doing for others and what others need. And a lot of times that's why people who are grieving end up grieving in silence, because they're so busy taking care of everybody else and not allowing themselves to go there for themselves. But I wish for everyone to have an entire day, or at least, a few hours, a few moments where you do exactly what you need. And if that means breaking, a standing family tradition of a brunch that your whole family goes to every year, or if that means telling everybody, I just want to be by myself for a few hours and sit down and read a book, or or go out to a park, or whatever that means to you, I think I wish that everybody had the opportunity to do that and to not be apologetic about it, and to communicate that to the people around you, because that's the most important thing, is communicating what you're feeling, and however they respond to that, that's their business, but you have a responsibility to yourself. So that's what I wish for everyone out there. Carly, did you want to go next?
I think Nathalie wanted to add something to that.
So yes, Nathalie.
I just wanted to add what you said, Carrie, about taking care of oneself. I think that's a really important wish. As much as I do hope that on this Mother's Day and on every Mother's Day, every woman, every person has someone or something she truly cares for, and someone who truly takes care of her, whether she has living children or not. We know that many children, or many people in general, don't have the experience of the birth mother's love and care. Either they don't have it, or they don't have it anymore. And I think we all need to be mothered or cared for, even as adults. Later in life, we translate it into the need to be loved or understood, heard, seen, felt. And it's a basic human need. And yet, we need to take responsibility for ourselves and give what we need to ourselves. So and that's what I wanted to add on to what you said, to really be mindful of what it is that I need and take care of myself. And if that comes from someone else as well, that's beautiful. That's like the icing on the cake. But the cake is our own responsibility. So for me, I really am conscious that if I'm not giving myself what I need, it comes out in emotionality. And that's where I'm reminded, okay, where do I need to take care of myself and how?
That's right. That's a beautiful way to put it. Mandy, did you want to add what your wish is?
Sure. I was thinking about it, and I was in bed crying last night about it, for my wish, for not as a lost mom, because you all represent the lost community so well, but for the women who will never have children, that have never been pregnant and will never have children, or are struggling and hopefully are able to have them in the future. But I hope and I wish that you can find one person that can stand with you when you break and you fall and you falter, and will just take their ball of glue and help them piece you together. And when you're ready to take that next step and you start to fall apart again, they just hold you in their hands and they let you, because it's not, I know people don't want to see other people hurt, and so they say, it'll be okay, just keep on going, but you can't. You literally, physically and emotionally, you can't. And I know I have a wonderful support of online women who are with me all the time, and we're there for each other. And I know people don't have that, but I know when we all have those days where we just can't do it anymore, they're all there for me. And people don't have that. Not every woman has that. And I really wish, if they're seeing this, they can reach out. I'm not, I don't have a website like some of the women do here, but I can be found. And if you need help, try and find. I can give you resources and help. just want to help so bad because I know it's hard not having anyone. And even because I didn't before, I've gone through where I haven't had that. I haven't had the support, and I know how so isolating and scary that is. It's scary. And, you know, I just hope that everyone can find someone, even if it's not in real life, just to be there for them. So if you know anyone, help them find resources, and just reach out. And that's all they need sometimes, is just that hand, just to hold.
Mandy, I think there'll be so many people just watching this now, just saying thank you, Mandy, because oh my goodness, you're so beautiful. I just love you to pieces, and yeah, I think we'll put some links up so people can find each other. And Mandy can be found at Still Standing Magazine. She writes beautiful articles, and so thank you so much, Mandy, for being here. I think we're going to go to Kiley next.
Okay. My wish for all the mothers out there is just to be gentle with yourself. Like Carrie said, you know, we're always thinking about everybody else, and so figuring out what you need, and maybe that's not okay with everybody else, but honoring your needs. And I remember the first Mother's Day after losing Norbert. I think that's the hardest, is because it's so fresh, and you know, and if people aren't recognizing you, tell people that you need to be recognized, and because I don't think people think about it, that they don't get it, and I'm sure I wouldn't have before. But yeah, try to communicate your needs and just do what you think is best for yourself, and that's loving yourself and your child.
Yeah, I think that's perfect, and you know, I really don't have too much to add, but I think, you know, this is Mother's Day. Take it and own it, and do whatever you need to do for yourself, and know that wherever you are in the world, however you're feeling, you're not alone in that feeling. You may feel alone, like there may be no one else there, but there are so many people out there feeling exactly the same way, and you know, this is your one day of the year that you can do whatever you need to, and whether that's crawling into bed for the day, shutting everyone up, or going out by yourself, or going out and being with friends, or whatever you need to do. It's like what everyone else has said. It's about self-care, and doing what you need to do to protect your own heart and to help heal your own heart. So, you know, I just wish you all tons of love and tons of recognition, and I hope that by watching this talk today, that, you know, that we, you know, maybe have been able to help in some small way, because that was the entire purpose of it. So I will pass on to my mum.
Thanks, Carly. I just have to say, ladies, I'm absolutely in awe of you all. You're just absolutely beautiful, beautiful women. And it's been such a privilege to be in your company tonight. My wish for all of you beautiful ladies and everyone who is going to be watching this recording, mothers and grandmothers all over the world, take your mother hearts, your own mother hearts, and hold it gently, and take a few moments just for yourself. Whatever it is, you've suggested all the things that you can do, but just hold your own heart in your hands and just have a peaceful moment, and just remember that you are beautiful. You're a mother, you're a grandmother, whoever you are. You love children, and that's just the most wonderful love that anyone can experience. So just have a beautiful day. Thanks, Becky.
Thank you, Anne. I think that was such a beautiful way to put it, and such a wonderful thing to leave with people is to hold your mother heart and to love it and to care for it. on that day and every day. And I think that's what we all wish for everyone right now. So we're going to wrap up now. I just want to say thank you so much again to all of you ladies for being with us, for crossing time zones and putting aside the time to do this with us, because it means so much to so many. And we look forward to having many more conversations and maybe having you on again to discuss some other topics. But I just want to wish you all well and thank you again.
Thank you, Carrie. And yeah, I'll just add as well, thank you everyone so much for joining us today. I know, like, doing a Google Hangout it sounds like a great idea to begin with, and then you start and you're like, what have I gotten myself into? Why didn't I bring enough tissues? I need to go to the bathroom. Yeah, so no, I think you're all wonderful, and thank you for putting yourselves out there to the world in the hope that you'll be able to help someone else, and I know that it will work. So we will sign off today, but we will be back, I'm sure, very soon. In fact, we've got our next Google Hangout will be for the Return to Zero premiere on Lifetime, which will be happening a week from now, I think. So that will be our next one that Carrie and I will be hosting, and we look forward to seeing everyone then as well. So thank you, beautiful ladies, and we'll send all our love out to everyone who's watching today. Bye-bye.